Hello, and welcome to Rodeo's Drive-Thru Hollywood News. I'm your host, Rodeo Marie Hansen. Today, we're at the historic Town Hall Theater in New York for Skittles, the Broadway musical. A special one-time only show and real-life commercial event for Skittles candy for Super Bowl 53. My very special guest is show's playwright, Will Eno. So, Will, almost every kid has been in a school stage play. Take us back to when you were a kid. Were you in any school plays that you remember, and when did you first get interested in writing?
I know I must have been in some school plays, and I know I saw some school plays, and then 15 years after that, I started getting slowly, in a sort of sideways way, I started getting interested in theater, and I've always been writing and trying to write, and then I really I read a very short play that I just loved, and I started to see the possibilities of it. One possibility I did not envision was this crazy thing that's happening now, which is the Skittles musical ad thing. And in fact, can I talk about that for a second? Just because it's such a, it took me a while to understand the concept of the thing. But this is this beautiful thing that Michael C. Hall is the star, and he's joined by 16 other people. We have a really big, beautiful cast, and it is truly, it's not going to be rebroadcast. It's not going to show up as a commercial. It's just this beautiful, it's almost spiritual to me that it just happens this one time. 1,500 people have tickets, and they'll see it in about an hour and a half, and then that'll be that. And it has just been so much fun, and it's been so great. Nathaniel Lawler is a guy at the ad side who came up with this notion of what if instead of doing a TV ad, we did this musical theater piece, and Ari Weiss, and of course Michael C. Hall. I just think is one of the great actors and human beings I've ever known. So that's what we're doing, and it's so great to meet you guys and to talk with you. And here we are, an hour and a half to go before this thing happens once, and then never, ever again.
That's cool. You have won many awards for writing one of your plays. Tom Paine, Based on Nothing, was a finalist for the Pulitzer Prize for Drama. How did you come up with ideas and characters for your plays, and did you ever think they would be on Broadway?
I didn't. Let's see, the end part thing, I didn't imagine what the future might hold for me when I was just starting out. Tom Paine is a play that Michael C. Hall just did to beautiful effect at the Signature Theater in the fall. It was such a gorgeous performance, and the way I can describe it to people is I say, I wish Hamlet could have seen that performance, because I think Hamlet, even though he's a fictional character, would have really loved what Michael was doing with Tom Paine. And I think it's just, there's complicated ways to think and talk about it, but I also think it's something that you know and that everybody knows. You know, when you just try to write a poem or you write anything, and you're both thinking about things you know and things you've felt and thoughts you've had, and then just trying to organize them in a way that might be followable and interesting and moving for other people.
Nice. What is the most difficult part of your job, and what do you like most about what you do?
I just am feeling so happy. Right? We have all worked so hard for months on this thing, and just working on a play is a very hard. It's hard. The discipline, the self-discipline is a really hard part, and I think everybody struggles with that. Just how to just sit down and start working on something. I think both starting a thing is a very hard thing, and finishing a thing just at the writing end is hard. Did you say what's rewarding or happy or joyful? Was that part of it? Kind of all of it is, and all of it is difficult, and all of it is sometimes frustrating, and all of it is really, it's just kind of wonderful and great to, I feel lucky. I didn't know that I was going to find my thing that I love on earth, and feel like I found it. And it took a long time, but here I am. It's very nice.
Great. Many famous actors have appeared in your plays. Is there an actor that you haven't worked with yet but would like to?
Let's see. Oh, there's some wonderful older English actors that it would be great to work with. I just feel really lucky. I've gotten to know, because I don't do musicals, I've gotten to know some actors through this project that I never knew before, and that's a great thing. I remember seeing an interview with Charles Schultz, the guy who does the Peanuts cartoons, and he was older, and he started crying and just said, I just am surprised that anybody likes what I do. And I sometimes have that sort of feeling of just, it's amazing to me, the very busy, successful people that have wanted to be in one of my plays and give some time to a play. And Michael C. Hall is a very busy guy who's always got interesting offers on the table, and I'm so grateful to him. He has made this project so, I think it was going to be pretty fun and joyful and interesting anyway, but he's a guy who just, I love that guy.
Great. Your plays have been performed in other parts of the country, as well as the UK. Do you think a Broadway audience is different from any other place in the world, and why?
I don't know enough. I've had one play on Broadway, and that audience seemed recognizable to me in terms of other audiences. Well, I've had a lot of plays on in London and in translation around the world, and I'm sure there's a difference. Broadway certainly is. It's a commercial place, but it's also that doesn't mean it's not human beings who are sitting there watching the play. So I'm not the best person to ask, but I think I think there are human beings. I think it's probably a little bit different from an off-Broadway audience. That's certainly the case, but it's also human beings. So human beings are human beings, I guess.
That's amazing. Tell us about Skittles, a Broadway musical, and how you became involved in it.
We talked a little bit about it at the top, but it's this crazy event that Skittles is doing. Instead of doing a TV ad, they decided, let's just do this one-time only musical that only the people who have tickets are going to see. So we've been working for months. Drew Gasparini is the guy who did the music, and Nathaniel Lawler and Drew did the lyrics for the songs. I wrote the book and did a bunch of writing elsewhere. And I got involved. The Drama Bookshop, which is this great institution in New York that just recently closed but will reopen because Lin-Manuel Miranda bought the place with some pals. Nathaniel went into the Drama Bookshop and said, hey, he asked for a particular kind of play with a particular sense of humor, and some great soul at the Drama Bookshop gave him some copies of my plays, and he read them and liked them. So I met with Ari Weiss and Nathaniel and a guy named Patrick Milling-Smith, who runs the production company of this whole thing. And it was just a really, you know how if you go to an interview or for a school or a job or something like that, they're normally sort of nerve-wracking and you feel nervous, and this just felt really comfortable, and we all chatted and we all liked each other, and we all sort of realized, I guess this could be, who knows what this could be, really. And so I didn't go in there with a bunch of confident and clear ideas about what it might be. I went in there with, I hope, an understanding of what it might be and how I might start to work on it and think about it. So that's how that happened, and then it's just really been a total blast. I'm so glad Michael C. Hall came on board shortly after that, and that was just a huge piece of making it this great, fun thing that's been.
Nice. How important is music education in the arts in public school?
I think it's incredibly, incredibly important, and it's just huge, and I feel silly even arguing for it, because I think it's so basic to what a human being is, but also so basic to what a great thinker in the tech world. I think to have some exposure to ways of approaching an idea and ways of approaching a problem. That's just it's crucial to our development as human beings, as creators in all realms. And I think it's good for the soul and good for the person and all that stuff.
What advice and inspiration do you have for young people who dream of growing up to be professional writers?
Words of what, inspiration or advice? Or,
Advice.
I think just it can take a long time, and it's funny, I've told these people when I've been teaching for years, but I've actually started to really practice it, and I've been glad, I've been grateful for my teaching because it's sort of bounced back to me through working with students. That you have to love the process of, and you worked on these questions and you probably had a first draft and then you sort of changed them, and you changed them already just from what you sent to how you've decided to deliver them now. So just to keep, and you must enjoy that part of it, of keeping working on a thing and refining it. So I think that's really important, more than thinking what the end result would be, just enjoying working on a thing inch by inch and word by word as you write. And that's the same for a poem or a novel or anything. It's a great thing to do with your life on earth, and I think you should enjoy it and be in the present with it and not be thinking about what might happen and if people are going to like this or not, is this going to sell, all that stuff.
That's amazing. What is your favorite go-to snack food with Skittles flavor?
I do really like, Skittles are pretty yummy, and I do also like Starbursts, and I try not to eat tons of candy. My daughter is 4.5 and she likes candy. Sometimes it's fun to try. We had one of those little tiny Altoid mints the other day, and it was funny to see her having this very strong peppermint for the first time. But as for snacks, I like carrots. I think it's snack too, and dates. Fresh dates are also a chewy, yummy snack.
Why do you think commercials during the Super Bowl are so popular, and which team are you rooting to win tonight's big game? The LA Rams or the New England Patriots?
I think the ad, I don't really know why people love the ads, but I have loved them, and it's just fun. You get so used to the ad being purely for the company's sake, they're just trying to sell their idea and product to you the best way that they know how. But somehow it's developed with the Super Bowl ads that it's sort of more for the viewer and for the, they're still trying to do their advertising thing, but it's for someone to laugh, or someone to enjoy the thing. I grew up in New England, in Massachusetts. I really loved the Red Sox, and I would always be rooting for the Red Sox and everything. I didn't totally connect to the Patriots in the same way when I was a little kid. You probably root for the Rams, are you? I would think so, yeah. I just hope I truly hope it's a good game, because sometimes it's a huge blowout and it's 43-3 or something like that. And I hope it's a good, exciting game. And as an older guy, it's nice to see an older guy like Tom Brady in there, but it's just the fact of life that there's this. I can't think of who's the Rams quarterback, do you know?
No.
I'm sure he's not 40 years old, because I think that's pretty rare. So really, truly, I hope it's a good game. I don't know. Yeah, I hope to enjoy myself, whatever it is.
Nice. Are there any special causes close to your heart that you would like to promote or share with our audience?
There's, the normal. I think they seem very normal and common sense to me, but I know for a lot of people they're not. But I like hunting and target shooting actually, but I also think we can have common sense laws about guns, because I just think it should be just seems like a common sense thing. It should be as hard to get a license to drive a car as, you know, I think that's a reasonable thing that I really hope happens. And I think we can think of creative, efficient ways to stop polluting. And because I think the climate change thing is really, really scary. It seems like it's here in a very real way. And, you know, it's not, you are not a cause, but I just think it's great. It's really nice to meet you. It's fun. It's, like I said, my daughter's 4.5, and I'm excited to think of what, I think it's neat that you've discovered this thing that you like doing, and you're traveling around and talking to people and learning about things and telling and sharing that with people, and that's, so I'm all for you, your football pass and your rainbow experiment.
Thank you very much, Will Eno, for being a part of the Drive-Thru Hollywood News. Until next time, that's a wrap.
Right.
Thank you.
Beautiful. You guys are great.